What's going on, YouTube? It's Adrian. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about all the different t-shirt printing methods that you can use for your streetwear brand. So today we're going to get into DTG, which is direct to garment, screen printing, HTV, which is heat transfer vinyls, embroidery, and maybe even a few more options. So whether you're just thinking about getting into t-shirts, you already have an established brand, or you're just curious, I hope this video leaves you with some knowledge and I hope you can take away what's best for your next project. All right, so for our number one spot, we're gonna go DTG, which is direct to garment. So think of direct to garment as basically a huge inkjet printer, but for garments and t-shirts. You can do things such as tote bags, shoes, mainly t-shirts. But yeah, DTG is basically a huge inkjet printer and it allows you to print whatever you want just with the design file you have. So some of the pros with DTG are it's going to be best for small orders or samples. Also, you can do full colored and full detailed images, even photos. So if you have a photo straight from your phone or any type of photo, you can perfectly print that with DTG with no issues. Also, there's no setup involved with that, and it's little to no work if you're getting it done through a manufacturer. Okay, so now to get some of the cons in for DTG. So DTG for one is very expensive. The cost per shirt does not lower if you have a bulk order or if you have a higher quantity order. It stays about the same. It does involve the CMYK ink. So those are ink cartridges that have to be filled up constantly, and those are quite expensive to keep the printer running. Also with DTG, the ink can fade over time. It is not durable as some of these other printing methods. I would say screen printing is a lot more durable and a lot brighter. And yeah, if done right, after about 30 to 50 washes with DTG, the design does start to fade out after those amount of washes. So that's something you have to be cautious about as well. So another con that stood out to me, I did DTG for about a year and a half, and I have a lot of experience with DTG. And one thing you cannot get rid of is the pre-treat box. DTG does use pre-treat. It's like a glue, so the design can stick onto the t-shirt, and after about 10 to 20 to 30 washes, the pre-treat does start to rise, and you can see a box of wherever it was originally placed. So yes, also if you're looking for quality and long-lasting prints, DTG might not be the way to go for you. So coming in at the number two spot, we have screen printing. Screen printing has been around for decades and it's not going anywhere. Some of the pros with screen printing are it's a softer feel, way softer than any of the digital printers or any of the digital methods you can use. The prints are very bright and they do tend to last a lot longer than any of the other methods. Screen printing has some of the best quality and that's why it's been used for decades. It's honestly the most preferred. I would say if you have more of an established brand or you're a bigger company or you have a bigger project coming up, screen printing would be the way to go. It's best for bulk orders. Typically with screen printing, the higher amount you order, it will lower the cost of the each t-shirt. So yeah, screen printing is best for bulk orders. With screen printing, because the quality is very good, customers are willing to pay more and it's something that they'll want to purchase again. Also, there is a lot of variety with screen printing. You can do glitter, ink, puff print, a few more options out there. So yeah, that's something you can take advantage of with screen printing. There are a lot of different print methods that you can use. Some of the cons though with screen printing are typically with manufacturers, there's a minimum order quantity. It can start at 24 or 36. Typically, screen printers don't want to do anything that's under 12 to 20 because there's a lot of setup. So yeah, with screen printing, there is minimum order quantities. Another con for screen printing, the cost varies. So depending on how many colors you have on your design will vary for that project. So if you have 3 colors, it's going to be cheaper versus if you have 5 colors. That's including setup fees and also the labor for that color. For each color you use and each color you add, the cost does go up. So that's something you have to keep in mind with screen printing. Typically, turnaround times are a lot longer. I would say about 1 to 2 weeks. Also, you cannot do one offs because, like I said, manufacturers typically want to do bulk order runs so they can do the order all at once. Typically, screen printers don't do one offs or anything under 10 or 20. I definitely recommend screen printing to more established brand. You don't want to order 60 to 70 t-shirts and then you don't have any customers and you just have, a bunch of t-shirts just sitting around because you wanted to get them screen printed. Definitely have an audience and have people willing to buy and spend money on your product before you go and get screen printed orders. So coming in at the number 3 spot, we're gonna go with embroidery. So with embroidery, it's thread that is stitched directly into the garment, adding like a 3D layer and a 3D texture onto your garment with that design. Embroidery is typically used for smaller logos or smaller designs. So yeah, you typically would see embroidery maybe on a center chest piece or a pocket logo. Also for some type of patches, or maybe if that brand just wanted to give off a luxury look, that's typically when you'll see embroidery used. Some pros with embroidery are going to be it's very durable. Also with embroidery, it adds texture and a slightly more luxury and higher end style to your brand. Some of the cons with embroidery are going to be embroidery is very expensive. It's limited to simpler, smaller designs. You can't do complex images like photo details or any type of detailed images. So embroidery is very expensive. So you typically don't see it used for big images or anything bigger than like a few inches. So it's not great for full shirt graphics. All right, now coming at the number 4 spot, we're going to get into HTV, which stands for heat transfer vinyls. So with heat transfer vinyls, all you're doing is you're grabbing your transfer vinyl sheet that has your design on it, and then you're heat pressing it onto a garment. So yeah, it's basically just a type of vinyl that is cut out with like a Cricut or some type of cutter, and then it's heat pressed onto the garment, and typically that lasts on the garment. So this is similar to DTG, but it's its own way. It's not directly coming from the printer, but again, it is very vibrant and it's best for small order runs, I would say. Also, this works on various materials. It's not just cotton shirts. So yeah, different materials work with DTF as well. There's no big setup cost and there's great color range, just like in DTG. So, what's going to be best for your guys' t-shirt business and clothing brand? Here is what I would recommend doing. So, for new testing brands, I would go with DTG or DTF. Yeah, mainly so you're not holding on to inventory that you don't need. For bulk drops and simple designs, I would say go with screen printing. And then lastly, if you want those premium details or if you're doing certain hats or certain patches, then I would go with embroidery. I say if you're just starting off, like I said, start small with DTG and DTF, get your designs, do marketing, do what you got to do to raise awareness for your brand, and then move on to screen printing and looking at other options. If you guys have any other questions or comments, leave a comment below. Make sure you guys don't forget to subscribe and like. It helps out the channel a lot. So yeah, if you guys thought anything was useful from this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.